The locket felt cold against Marcus Chen's palm, impossibly cold for something that had been missing for 3 years. His fingers trembled as he traced the delicate gold filigree, the tiny clasp that never quite closed right, the microscopic dent on the back where it had fallen during their first dance. The world around him, the bustling lobby of Chen Technologies, the morning rush of executives and employees, the fountain that Laura had insisted on installing, all of it blurred into nothing. Because this wasn't possible. This locket had been buried with his wife. "Sir, are you okay?" The voice was young, concerned, pulling him back from the edge of a memory that threatened to swallow him whole. Marcus looked up. The girl standing before him couldn't have been more than 16. She wore the custodial staff uniform that was 3 sizes too big, her dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, dirt smudged across one cheek. In her other hand, she held a mop. And her eyes, warm brown and impossibly kind, watched him with genuine worry. "Where?" His voice cracked. He was the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a man who commanded boardrooms and negotiated billion-dollar deals without flinching. But right now he could barely speak. "Where did you find this?" The girl shifted her weight, suddenly uncertain under his intense gaze. "In the basement, sir. Level B3 near the old storage rooms." It was just lying there on the floor. I saw the engraving inside. "To Marcus. My heart beats with yours, and I asked around. Everyone said it must be yours. So She trailed off, seeming to realize she might have overstepped somehow. Marcus couldn't breathe. B3, the basement level that hadn't been renovated yet, that Laura had walked through countless times in the early days when this building was just a dream, sketched on napkins during late-night dinners. The level where they'd stood together 5 years ago, her hand in his, as she'd pointed to where she wanted the employee child care center built. "I'm Rosa," the girl added quietly, as if offering her name might somehow explain how she'd just shattered and rebuilt his world in the span of 30 seconds. "Rosa Martinez, my mom, she's one of the night cleaners here." The name stirred something. Martinez. Elena Martinez. A woman who worked the graveyard shift and whom Marcus had seen maybe twice in 7 years, always moving through the building like a ghost, making sure everyone else's world was clean and bright before disappearing at dawn. "This locket," Marcus started, then stopped. How could he explain? How could he tell this teenage girl that the police had searched every inch of his home after Laura's death, that the funeral home had sworn this locket was secured around Laura's neck in her casket, that he'd spent months descending into a darkness so complete he'd almost lost the company? His sanity, everything? Rosa watched him with those old soul eyes, patient in a way that reminded him achingly of Laura. "My wife passed away 3 years ago," he finally managed. "This was hers. I was told it was buried with her." Understanding bloomed across Rosa's face, followed immediately by a grief so genuine it took him aback. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to. I just thought you'd want it back." No. Marcus closed his fist around the locket, feeling its edges bite into his. Palm, real, solid, here. "You have no idea what you've just given me." Over the next week, Marcus couldn't let it go. Not just the locket, but the mystery of how it had appeared. He pulled the security footage from B3, watching hours of grainy video. There, 3 weeks ago at 2 in the morning, he saw her, Elena Martinez, pushing her cleaning cart, pausing by the old storage rooms. She bent down, picked something up from the floor, examined it in the dim light, then carefully placed it in her pocket. But that wasn't what made Marcus's breath catch. It was what came next. The timestamp jumped forward 2 hours. Elena was sitting on the floor, her back against the wall, shoulders shaking. Even in the poor quality video, he could see she was crying. And in her hands, illuminated by her phone's flashlight, was the locket. Marcus found Elena the next night, working on the executive floor at 2 a.m. She startled when she saw him, nearly dropping her spray bottle. "Mr. Chen, is something wrong?" He was still in his suit from dinner with investors. Tie loosened, exhaustion probably written all over his face. "Mrs. Martinez, I wanted to thank you." "And to ask you something." Confusion clouded her features. "Thank me?" "Your daughter returned my wife's locket to me last week, but I saw the security footage. You found it. You held on to it for 2 weeks before giving it to Rosa to return. Elena's face went pale. I'm sorry, I know I should have... No, Marcus held up a hand. I'm not upset. I'm curious. Why did you wait? Why not bring it directly to me? She was quiet for a long moment, her hands twisting the cleaning cloth she held. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely audible. Because I lost my husband 5 years ago. And I recognized what that locket was the moment I opened it. I saw your wife's picture inside. I read the engraving. She looked up at him and her eyes were wet. I knew what it would do to you, getting it back. I saw you after she died, Mr. Chen. Everyone did. You were barely holding on. Marcus felt his throat tighten. I wanted to make sure I returned it the right way, Elena continued. Not just dropping it on your desk like some lost stapler. I prayed about it. I asked my husband, I still talk to him sometimes, what he thought I should do. And then I thought about Rosa. She's so gentle, so kind. She'd return it with the care it deserved. She wiped at her eyes. I'm sorry if that was wrong. Wrong? Marcus's voice cracked. You gave me the most thoughtful gift anyone's given me since Laura died. He pulled out his phone, opened his photo gallery, and showed Elena a picture. It was from this morning. Rosa, standing in the Chen Technologies lobby, wearing not a custodial uniform, but a new school outfit, her eyes bright with hope. Beside her was Marcus, his hand on her shoulder, both of them in front of a large banner that read, Chen Technologies Scholarship Program, first recipient, Rosa Martinez. I created this because of what you both taught me, Marcus said softly. Your daughter could have sold that locket. It's worth $40,000. She could have simply handed it to security. Instead, she brought it directly to me with concern in her eyes. And you understood that grief isn't just about loss. It's about how we carry what remains. Elena's hand flew to her mouth. The scholarship covers full tuition, books, and living expenses for college. Any school she wants. Marcus's voice grew stronger. But that's not all. I've decided to create a new program. Every child of a Chen Technologies employee who wants to pursue higher education will receive the same support. No family should have to choose between their dreams and their financial reality. Tears streamed down Elena's face. Mr. Chen, I can't. This is too much. It's not enough, Marcus said firmly. Laura always said that kindness compounds. That one act of genuine humanity could ripple out and change everything. I forgot that after she died. Your daughter reminded me. The next morning, Marcus stood in the B3 basement, Rosa and Elena beside him. He'd had his secretary arrange for them both to have the day off. Together, they looked at the spot where the locket had been found. I think I know how it got here, Marcus said quietly. He pulled out a folder showing them old construction photos. Laura used to wear this locket every day. When we were building this place, she'd come with me to the site. She'd walk through with the architects, suggesting changes, making sure we built something that honored the people who'd work here, not just the profits we'd make. He pointed to a photo. Laura, wearing jeans and a hard hat, the locket visible at her throat. The photo was dated 7 years ago, taken in what would become the B3 level. She must have lost it here all those years ago. We searched everywhere for it when she noticed it was missing. She was heartbroken. It had belonged to her grandmother. But we never found it. He smiled sadly. When she died, I gave the funeral home a replica. I couldn't bear to bury her without it. The real one has been here all along, in the building she helped create, waiting. Rosa reached out and took his hand. Elena took the other. 3 people bound by loss and found through kindness, standing in a basement that suddenly felt sacred. She'd be proud of what you're doing, Elena whispered. Marcus looked at the locket in his palm one more time, then carefully fastened it around his neck. Laura's heart beat against his, just like the engraving promised. She'd be proud of all of us, he said. That afternoon, Marcus stood before his entire company in an emergency all-hands meeting. Thousands of employees, from executives to custodial staff, gathered in person and via video call. He told them the story, all of it. The locket, Rosa's kindness, Elena's wisdom, and Laura's enduring legacy. Starting today, he announced, Chen Technologies isn't just about technology. It's about humanity. Every employee, regardless of position, will have access to educational funding for themselves or their children. We're establishing a foundation in my late wife's name, and your kindness, all of your unseen kindnesses, will finally be seen and honored." The room erupted in applause, but Marcus only saw two faces: Rosa, crying happy tears, and Elena, her hand over her heart, whispering what looked like a prayer of thanks. Later, when everyone had gone home and the building was quiet, Marcus found himself back in B3. He placed his hand against the cold concrete wall. "Thank you," he whispered to Laura, to the universe, to whatever force had led Rosa to that exact spot on that exact night. "Thank you for reminding me that we're never truly buried. That love leaves pieces of itself everywhere, waiting to be found by the right hands at the right time." The locket warmed against his chest, and Marcus Chen, CEO and widower, walked back upstairs into a world that suddenly felt full of possibility. Again, all because a janitor's daughter had said 5 simple words. "You dropped this, sir.